Hello and welcome to the training video for the High Road Training Partnership Resilient Workforce Program application. So your first step is going to be going onto our Cali Grants website. Once you're on the Cali Grants website, you'll notice that you can navigate between the different funding opportunities without a login. In order to begin your application, you'll go ahead and click on this login button right here in the upper right-hand corner. If you already have an account, you can go ahead and sign in. But if this is your first time applying, please go ahead and click on this sign up button right here in the bottom right-hand corner. If someone from your company is already signed up, then don't go ahead and make this, but you'll want them to add you within the account using the Manage Users tab. I will show you that at the end of this video. Once you sign up, if this is your first time, you'll go ahead and type in your first name, last name, email, and your company name. Once you click on sign up, you'll receive instructions to your email with how to set up your password. Since I already have an account, I'm going to go ahead and log in. I'm going to go ahead and type in my information. Once I've typed information, I'll go ahead and click on log in. If it takes you to this page, just go ahead and click on the Home tab. Once you're on the home page, you'll go ahead and click on Funding Opportunities to view the available applications and funding opportunities. If you're seeing this list view, you can go ahead and click on this drop-down arrow and click on CWDB. You can go ahead and pin it for future views just so that you always see this when you open up funding opportunities. Within the CWDB funding opportunities, you'll go ahead and click on the High Road Training Partnership Resilient Workforce Program, or RWP. From here, you can view the information, description, and any other pertinent information. Just go ahead and scroll down. When you see these blue words right here, that means that those are links. So you can go ahead and click on that, and it's going to take you to that web page, for example. As you scroll down, it's going to provide you further relevant information for your application, as well as have this applications bar here that shows you any applications that you have in progress or what you submitted, etc. Scrolling back up, when I'm ready to apply, I'm going to click on the Apply button right here in the upper right-hand corner. It's going to have me select my application category, so I'm just going to click on Development for the purpose of this walkthrough. Once you click on that, you're going to be taken to this pop-up page, which will have you type in your project name, your industry, if your project is serving participants. If you hover over this information bubble, it's going to provide you some further information. So it's essentially saying that if you click on yes, then you will have an additional field within your application versus if you click on no. You'll then type in your requested amount, address, city, county, and your zip code. If it does not have the red asterisk, it's not a required field. As we get to our points of contact, we'll type in our primary contact, their title, their email, their phone number, and then we'll move on to the physical contact. And it's going to be the same information that was required. The primary is required for the physical contact. And lastly, you'll type in your approval of authorized representatives. Once you're satisfied with this, you'll go ahead and click on the Save. And then you'll get this green pop-up message indicating your application is created successfully. So now you're within the application, and you'll notice that your cover page is going to be that information that you typed in on that previous page. So at any point you made a mistake, you can just click on this pencil icon, make your edits as needed, and then once you're done making your edits, you'll go ahead and click on Save, and it'll update for you. As you go through the tabs, you'll notice that you're not able to go through the tabs until you accept the acknowledgement. So the acknowledgement is back on the cover page, so that's right here. Once you've read that, once you agree to those guidelines requirements, you'll click on I agree. You'll click on Proceed, and then you'll get a green success message once you're done with that. Moving on, let's go to our Narratives tab. And also please take a moment and see that you have all of these tabs available. You'll notice that there are more under this More tab. And if you notice that any tabs are missing, please let us know. As you go through the narrative, you'll notice there are multiple sections. So we have Section 1, Section 2, Section 3, and Section 4. Within the different sections, you'll notice that there are certain questions, such as Question 3, where it has you put over your selected options. If you go over this I, it'll tell you to click on the available options and use the left and right arrows to select and deselect. So essentially, your available is what you have not selected. So let's say I want to select this. I'd click on that, click on the right arrow, and now that is the option I've selected. And I'll notice that an additional question has popped up here at the bottom. If I want to go ahead and delete one, I would just click on the question, select that left arrow, and it would simply move it out of the way. Please note that for the narrative, these are all required questions, except for if it says optional. Overall, there are 18 questions within Section 1, 11 questions within Section 2, and one question in Section 1 question in Section 3, and in Section 4, it's just telling you to complete the Outcomes and Deliverables tab, Work Plan, and Budget documents. So no text will be needed in this section. When you are finished filling out the narrative, so this can be either if you're just finished filling it out at the moment or coming to the end, please always ensure to click on the Save button. This will ensure that your information is not lost, because if you are not saving when you're exiting, there's a potential for that information to get lost. So very important that you just click on Save. Once we're finished with our narrative, we'll go on to our Outcomes and Deliverables. Here, you'll note at the top that there is a further description on just how to complete this section, and also note there is a 500 character limit per deliverables question. So again, character limit means the letters, the punctuation, and the spaces. As you fill out these fields, if you want to add an additional field, you'll click on Add. If you decide that you don't want to keep this anymore, you can simply click on this trash can icon and it deletes it for you. And then once you're done with this section, you'll click on Save. Once you get this green pop-up message, you know you're good to go, and you can move on to your work plan. Here in your work plan, note again that there is some further information here at the top. When you want to go ahead and add your objectives and activities as well as your estimated completion dates, you're going to click on Add within the corner. You're going to click on Add within the quarter that you want. You'll type in your information. Once you get to the date, once you click on this, it's going to pop up a calendar for you. You can navigate within this calendar, click on the date that you want, click on the year, and then click on, eventually, your completion date. You can add new tabs or sections within each quarter. You can delete as needed. You'll get this, are you sure you want to delete for this portion? We'll just click on OK. And then so on. You can just click on adding, deleting for the quarters as needed. Once you're done, you'll click on Save. You'll get that green pop-up message, and then you know to move on to your participant plan. Please note that not everyone will see the participant plan. I see it because on my cover page, I have selected Yes for Is My Project Serving Participants. If I hover over that, you can see that it notes that in my help bubble. Going back to the participant plan, so for this, once you type in the numbers, you'll notice they're calculating here at the end. So that's how this portion works. You'll just put in your numbers as needed, ensure your calculations are accurate. Scrolling down, part 2 of this is going to be providing your details on the desired placement outcome. So you'll put in your information as needed. Not all of these are required. And then once you're done with this, you'll go ahead and click on Save. Once we're done with that, our next section is our Partner R&R. Again, at the top, we have a description of what is required of us here. If there is not a red asterisk under list partners, then those are not required. The only two required are these first two, and the rest will be as needed, so whatever your organization is utilizing. We'll click on Add to start filling these out, and then we'll fill out the list partners, their roles and responsibilities, if applicable, their leverage / match fund amount, and also their fund types, so if they're cash or in kind, and then if a formal OR is planned. The same button as before available. We have this Add one, we have Delete, and then we'll just keep on doing that as needed. Once we are done filling out our information, and we feel that everything is complete, we'll go ahead and click on Save. Another thing that I want to note for this section is here at the bottom, you have a total. So it's going to give you this total after adding up the above list partners. Moving on to the expend plan, please read here at the top for how to fill out these spaces. In the expend plan, we have our section 1, which is our funding plan, and section 2, which is our expenditure plan. If you scroll down here, you'll notice that there is a totals bar. Something that I want to note for you is that you need to match the numbers in section 1 and section 2. So for example, I'll show you right here. If I am typing in my numbers, notice they're calculating here at the bottom. I'm going to type in some match funds, which is for the same on each side, and we'll have that total subgrant amount of $10,000. And note on the bottom I haven't put information, so that is 0. If I click on Save, it's going to give me an error message and my grant funds do not equal my total quarterly planned expenditures. What that means is that this number right here is not the same as this number. So that 10,000 needs to be reflective of right here. And 10,000 is not going to be per se the number that you use, it is just the number that I am using for my test purposes. If I go down here, I'm going to type in 10,000 just to make that equal for me at the bottom. To ensure click Save. Note that it says 10,000. When I click Save, I will get a green success message. Once you're confident with your expend plan, you can move on to your budget narrative. So your expend plan and your budget narrative, they're essentially using the same numbers. So that 10,000 that I was using here, you'll need to have that reflect in the budget narrative at the bottom. So scrolling down, in this grant award total, you'll need to have that 10,000 or whatever number that you are using within your expend plan. So if I click on Save, you'll notice that I'll get an error. So as I'm going through this, I can go ahead and click on my staff hours and benefits, fill that out as needed. If I have more staff I need to add, I click on this Add button. If I have any staff I want to delete, I can just click on this Delete button. As I'm filling out this information, once I input a number here on the right side, then the system is going to require me to put in a description. It will not allow you to save it with a number if you are not putting text as well. As I put in this 10,000 number, note that it is reflecting here at the bottom for my grant award total. Scrolling back up. Once I'm done, I'll go ahead and click on that Save button, and I'll get a green success message. Once you're done with your budget narrative, you'll go on to your supplemental budget. Here at the top again, we have some further information on what to put in this section. In this section, we have section 1 for equipment, section 2 for contractual services, and section 3 for the subrecipient. Within this section, you'll notice this blue text. Again, what that means is if you click on that, it's going to take you to that section. So for this one in particular, if you click on this, you'll be able to review the WSD 1806. Next, you'll go ahead and fill out the supplemental budget. As you fill in your numbers, you'll notice that they're calculating right here in the totals. Each section within the supplemental budget has its own Save button. So please ensure that you're saving after each section. You'll go ahead again, fill out as needed. And then once you've made sure to save, you'll then go ahead to your budget summary. Here at the top, it's going to provide you some further instructions on the budget summary. Scrolling down, notice that there are multiple sections for the budget summary, as well as a calculation here at the bottom for the total award, the subtraction of administrative costs, and then the program costs. This number will always subtract from your total award amount. And then here at the bottom, you'll notice this blue text again, which just means that you can click on it for further information and further clarification. So just as with the expend plan and the budget narrative, if you go ahead and click on Save on this without matching the numbers within the expend plan and the budget narrative, so if you remember, for my purposes, that was at 10,000. It's going to give you this error that it's not allowing you to save because the numbers aren't matching. So no matter what information you put in here, if it does not equal the budget narrative and you click on Save, you're not going to keep that information. So please ensure that it matches so you can get that saved and so that you don't lose your information. I'm going to go ahead and type in my numbers. So I'll just be putting in 10,000 for the purposes of this walkthrough. I'll type in my source, my type, then I'll scroll down to the bottom. Note that that 10,000 now has been subtracted by this administrative cost, and then overall you have your program cost. Scrolling up, once I'm done, I'll click on Save. I'll get that green success message, and then I'll be ready to move on. Please go ahead and click on More for our last tab, which is the Upload Documents tab. So here you'll notice that you have some required documents. So you have your MOU or your letter of support, STD 204, and the STD 205 if applicable. So go ahead and put in your files, Upload Files button. Once you click on the Upload Files, it'll take you to your Files page. So you can just go ahead and click on whatever section you want to be in. You'll click on the file that you want to choose. Select Open. It'll then download. You can click on Done, and so on. Just keep doing that for the rest of these. And since the last one is if applicable, I'm going to go ahead and just leave that blank. Once you're done with these tabs, feel free to go back and review your work. If you look here in the top right, you'll notice that here is the Submit button, your Print View, as well as your Delete function. If you want to see your application before you submit, if you want to print it out, or whatever it is that you want to do, just click on this Print View button. And what that will do is that it'll show you a PDF of your whole application. I'll give that a moment to load. So here it is. This is all that information that you've just inputted. You'll right click, or you can go in your settings and print, whatever's easiest for you. So click on Print. And then from here, so I'm using Google Chrome, so this is why it looks like this for me. Within my destination, I can either do Save as PDF, to save it as a PDF, or I can click on the drop-down arrow and select my printer. And so this is a useful way if you just want to have a physical copy of your application, if you want to make any edits, and it's up to you if you want to use that or not. You're also able to delete your application, and this is only for our admin users. So I'll explain what that means once we go to the Manage Users button. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this in question 1 just to show you guys something. Once we're done with this, I'm going to go ahead and click on Submit. It's going to ask me if I'm sure. I'll say yes. And I'll get this message saying your application submitted successfully. Note that now my status bar is updated, so my application is no longer in progress, but now it is application submitted. And if at any point you want to go back to your application. Let's say if you're editing it, or if you want to view your submitted application, you would do that by going in this Applications tab right here. See here now, you can see that one that I just made. It'll give me the date, who it created it, my amount, etc. Now I'm going to go back to a feature that I wanted to show you all, which is this Manage Users button. So here, let's say that I created an account for my company and I wanted to add people that could also access the application so that we can all work together. I would add them here. So I would not have them sign up on that login page, but I would click on Add a New User. I would type in their name, their last name, their email, their phone number, and their permissions. So what the permissions mean, so there's either administrator or user, is that they can do different things. So the administrator is able to add new users, they're able to delete applications, etc. And having someone as a user just gives them a little less of those privileges. So whatever you feel comfortable with, you'll just click on that, and you'll click on Create. And once you click on Create, it's going to send them an email in order for them to set up their account. And it's going to do the same process that you did where you have to click on the link, it'll have them create a password, and then they will have their own account that's separate from yours but connected still. So you'll be able to see each other's applications. That is the end of my walkthrough. Thank you so much for following along. Please, if you have any questions, reach out to a CWDB staff member and they'll direct you in the right direction. Thank you so much for following along with this video. Have a good day.